Today class, we are going to discuss about the assemblies. What is assembly? What are the different types of assemblies we have in C sharp? We'll see now. Assembly. What is assembly? When you run a program or when you compile the program successfully, it generates assembly. When we write one program, when it gets compiled successfully, it generates them. So, what is assembly? Assembly is a assembly. What is assembly? What is assembly? In C sharp code, assembly is a uh, is a code independent program execution path. Assembly is a independent program execution. When it creates assembly, when a program compiles successfully, it generates the assembly. What are the types? We have different types of assemblies like public or shared assembly, private assembly, and satellite assembly. So, what is this public or shared assembly? This can be used in more than one. It can be used in more than one project. Not only a single project, but when we have a private assembly, this can be used in project, used in single project where we have the reference. So here we need a reference, then only it can be used. But here this can be used more than one project. This will be stored in GAC, global assembly cache in Citra in local system. So it can be shared across all the projects. That is GS, global assembly cache. So what is the path of this GAC? Public assembly or shared assembly, it should be stored in the GAC. So where it will be stored? This will be stored in this path, C drive, quick drive, Windows. Okay, assembly in this. Okay. How to create assembly? For example, I'll create a class. So this is how we are going to create. For example, we have program now. When I compile it, okay, clean solution, clean succeeded, build the solution. When you build that success without any compilation error, it will create an assembly. Okay, now build get success. One succeeded, 0 to 0 to 0 switch. I will go here, go to file folder explorer. So this is our project console app 3. If you see, there is a in folder. In the bin, we have a debug net console app 3. This is your exe file. Okay. So if you go and see this extra properties, you will have the extension .exe like this. So this is the exe file. So if you double click this, it will generate the same application. Whatever output we want, it will give you like that. So we didn't give console.read or read key. That's it. It's it's there. See, there is output. Yeah. So as per our previous video. So and we have one more thing called DLL. So what is this DLL? DLL stands for Dynamic Link Library. This is DLL is a private assembly. Okay. So when you want to access other project, you need to give the reference. Then only it will access. How? Let's see now. I'll create one project outside. New project. So to create the DLL, what we need a class library. Okay, class library to create the DLL. Click next. So here, so what is my project? Class library. Let it be same name. Okay, click next. Click on create. It's going to create one assembly. So let's build the solution. So it's going to create one product explorer. Big debug. So this is called DLL, right? Now, if I want to access this, so for example, let's write some program here. Public void print some message. For example, welcome to service. So now, welcome to first software. So this is my DLL. Okay, DLL. I have one class, one method. Now I want to access this outside of the DLL. Okay, so how can I access, for example, we create one class. Here also class name or give separate name to it. My class. My class. Okay, so here this is my class. Okay, I want to create object for what this one class one, which is there in different library, different assembly. Okay, so what I do, I create one main method here, class one, origin equals no class one. It will give me error. What is this error? There is no reference. How to give the reference? Let me show you manually. So now this class library one got compiled successfully. Now I want to give the reference here to class console app 3. So here we have seen dependencies. Right click, add project reference. We need to do add project reference. So class library one, click on OK. So it will add the projects class library one. So now you could able to add the namespace. How to add using class library one. Now you could able to access this. So now obj dot print console dot read or read kit. Welcome to paper software training. This is called private assembly. So when you have a private assembly, we have to give the access reference project reference in that. And the public assemblies, so you don't need any reference, you could be able to access those. And what is satellite assembly? If you want to store any images, icons, or languages, for example, I want to implement a multilingual application. For example, whenever I log in US, it should show me in English, and the currency will be dollars and time zone based on that uh, region, based on the latitude and latitude. So similarly, I'll log in my application in Spain. I could able to see the Spanish, and I could able to log in India. I could able to see. So based on the region, that particular language and the time zone, and the currency will be in Indian rupees. Similarly, that satellite assembly will work this way. Any doubts here, guys? Okay, if no doubts. So if you want to see there is a difference between exe and DLL. So what is exe is a self-executable file. Means once you do the double click on the exe, it will run automatically. DLL is not a self-executable file. And exe stands for extension. Stands for dynamic link preparation. Exe will have the .exe as extension. DLL will have the .dll as extension. So this is about exe and DLL. Exe we have seen, right? Once you double click, it will run the program. But when it comes to the DLL, it requires the other program to execute. You have to give the reference, then only you could be able to access that particular functionality. And exe will have the .exe as extension, and DLL will have the .dll as an extension. And we have one concept related to assembly called reflection. What is reflection? When reflection is a technique to get the reflection is a technique to get the assembly information during runtime. Reflection is a technique to get the assembly information during runtime. And so what is information? Is nothing but metadata. Means data about data. What assembly contains? Assembly contains metadata like assembly type, version, size, created date, etc. Path. These are all the information assembly can have. For example, we'll go and see this assembly which we created newly now. So class library. I'll go and see them. Class library. Provision, keyboard. So class library.dll. If you see this, we'll be having different data like file type, extension, .dll, location, which location it's stored, size on disk. The application size is, DLL size is 4.5 KB. The disk means in the system it will be 8 KB. So usually in system it will occupy more space than the size. So when it created, when it modified, when your access is lost, suddenly you want to set any read only or hidden, you can set this. And if you want to give any security, which user should be able to access. And again, type, version, product name, version, copyright, all those things, language, what are the previous version if you have. Okay, all those things we could be able to access with the help of reflection during runtime. So this is compile time, which we are seeing in general. So if you want to get those information from the DLL during runtime, we'll use a technique called reflection. So this will use namespace Sorry, system dot design system dot reflection. Reflection is a technique to get the assembly information during runtime, and this will use the metadata, which is data about data. Assembly contains the metadata like assembly type, version, size, created date, all those things. So how will you get the reflection? This is the way. For example, string str equals hello. Point abc equals to 10. Okay. Now type equals to type of abc. Okay, let's take the class. Console friend t dot name console.writeLine t dot full name console.writeLine t dot is value type or reference type. Icon t dot in the class. This information I want to display. So what is the name? Class name. My class. What is the full name? Using from namespace. Console3.assembly.myclass. Is it a value type? False, because class is a reference type. Is it a class? True, because it's a class. So this is how we'll get the information during runtime. So type t equals to abc dot get type. Similar like this. Name is in32. What is the full name? System.in32. System is an namespace. Is it a value type? True, because integer is a value type. Is it a class? False, because it is an integer. So assembly qualified name is system32, which is derived from a system.private code library version 7.0. So everything we got. So is it a array? It is false. This is called a reflection. If you want to get the assembly information during runtime, use a technique called reflection. Understood, guys? Any doubts here?